And pause recording.
You don't see it. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Hi. We're just getting things started, making sure it's shared out to all the proper places. But welcome to the premiere episode of Spirit Chat with Mari and Winter Brook. We're very excited to have everybody here. We're just getting all the technical pieces going here. Winter, let me know when you have it on Facebook, and then I will share it.
Okay.
Okay, cool. It
Thank
looks like
goodness
it's
we have our
on
technical advisor in the
there.
background.
Yeah.
Oh, what a
Always a good
face I
thing.
made. Now what do I do?
Just click on Zoom again.
Okay.
Yeah, give us 1 second, everyone, making sure everything is going where it needs to be. Oh, there you are. I'm looking very confused. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Mari and I are great with the dead people and the animals, but give us the tech stuff. We defer to our children. We definitely respect their superior knowledge on how to operate this.
All right, I think it's going. I think Sierra wants to check. I think it's working.
Both of them are working.
Okay.
I went to
Awesome.
up and running.
I don't see on mine.
You can't do it quickly like that.
Yeah, I think I saw it on Facebook, so I think it's going. Thanks everyone who joined us. Let me know, Winter, when you're ready.
And I went to
This way. Okay.
Okay, you good?
All right, so let's start this. We're only 2 minutes late, and I'm going to turn this off. Mari, I'm so glad to be here.
Hi.
Finally, this has been a project in the works, and I'm grateful for all of you that have joined us in the Zoom page. And if you're coming in now, I'll be letting you in. It's okay if you're late. This is not law school, so we won't lock the door on you. And for those of you on Facebook land, I know that there is a lag. So we will try to read messages if we can, but the best way to get questions today is to be in the Zoom room. So with that, I'm gonna.
Okay, yeah, I'm just making sure you're on my phone. And yeah, so this is something that Winter and I decided to do, this new show, and we're still figuring out the whole streaming situation. So forgive us if it's not 100% there, but we wanted to come on and really just talk about everything to do with spirit. If I can go first, Winter, and do introductions, if that's good. If people who don't know me, my name is Mari Cartagenova, otherwise known as Medium Mari, because my last name is incredibly long and much too hard to say. And I am a psychic medium and animal communicator. And I've been doing this work for a very long time. And honestly, it's my privilege to connect with spirit and connect with animals. I also do some lost and missing animal work, as well as missing people work sometimes. But basically, it's just a privilege to be working with spirit and connecting to the other side every day. And just welcome everybody that's here. And, you know, we welcome your questions, your input. We'd love to hear about what speakers or topics you're interested in, because this is really going to be a audience-driven show, because we want to provide whatever it is you guys are interested in. So we will talk a little bit more about our backgrounds and everything, but that's a little short blurb on me. And take it away, Winter.
Hi. So let's see if I can be just as short and brief as Mari. She's actually a fabulous medium and animal communicator, and we've known each other, what, 4 years now? 5 years, maybe?
Yeah. I'm losing track of time. I don't know.
Yeah. And so you want to take over admitting?
Sure, absolutely.
Oh, thanks.
You got it.
So my name is Winter Brook. and I am a professional psychic medium. I'm also a trance medium, and I sit for unfoldment. That's the actual term for physical mediumship as well. And right now, I'm pretty good at transfiguration, and spirit can arrange some phenomena. So those are the areas. I also do animal communication, and past lives, spirit guides. I work a lot with the spirit guides. And those are the areas I pretty much practice. I do a lot of public speaking. I've been to over 55 libraries on Long Island. I love working at libraries. And I have been at colleges lecturing and demonstrating as well. I teach up at the Lilydale Assembly during the summer. And this summer I'll be up there teaching trance and also evidential mediumship, incorporating some aspects of trance into that. So actually Spirit told me I was going to be doing something like this. And I said, really? And 2 days later, Mari reaches out and said, would you like to do this? And I thought this would be fabulous. I loved connecting with people. And like most people, I haven't been able to see people in person too much with the pandemic. So I've actually found a love for Zoom, because now I realize I can see lots of people, even the ones that aren't physically located near me. And doing a show like this with Mari and having you guys come and we talk metaphysics and spiritual topics, I'm all in. So I've been looking forward to this, and I'm so happy for those of you joining us in the Zoom room, as well as those of you out in Facebook land. We will upload the recordings to our YouTube channels, and the next show we do, we will have a streaming service, being able to directly do it from YouTube. So bigger and better, but we're just glad you guys are here for the first show.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that I'm here with you, Winter. And for anyone that doesn't know about trance mediumship, Winter is an amazing trance medium. I mean, I have not seen her in person, but I've seen a lot of photographs and videos, and it's amazing when she goes into trance and there's literally different faces that come over her, and it's really unbelievable. So I'm definitely looking forward to that episode. I do a little trance myself, definitely not as much as you do, but I'm really looking forward to chatting about that. I'm just making sure that everybody's let in. I keep seeing things flashing on my screen. So if I look like I'm a little deer in the headlights, it's the technical part, because you can't, I always tell my kids, you can't be good at everything, right? So it's like, I can talk to dead people and animals, but maybe the computer, not so much. So I guess we were talking about just sort of giving everybody a little bit of our background and sort of how we got involved in this, because that's one of the number one questions that I get, and probably Winter too, and we have different stories. And so I thought people might be interested about, how we got to do this. For people that, that don't know me or have never met me, like I'm, a normal person. I don't fly around the room or on unicorns or anything crazy. I don't have a crystal ball, although you can use one if you like to, because I meet people and I'm just a normal soccer mom. And so sometimes when they find out what I do, they're a little like, oh, like, how come you're not really weird? And it's because most of us that do this aren't really weird. I mean, I guess if you think what we do is weird, then we are. But in terms of, we're normal people just like you. And, we have our families and our lives. And it's just, we've been able to sort of fine tune this connection to the other side. And, everybody is able to do this as well. It's not just like we have a special power. People say, oh, it's so amazing. And it is really amazing, no doubt. But it's like, if you wanted to be a bodybuilder, you wouldn't eat Oreos every night, right? You'd go to the gym and you'd work out. And we, Winter and I have done that for connecting with spirit. So for me personally, it's just been sort of an extension of who I am, like as a person. my story very briefly is, my earliest memory was talking to angels and talking to spirits. I mean, I might have been 3 years old, and I just remember them in my room and talking to them. And I'm like, hey, what's up? And, probably didn't say that, but whatever I said, and for me, it was just kind of normal. And then when I got to be a little bit older, I realized that, well, not everybody is doing this. And the fact that I'm like hugging trees and things, people think I'm kind of weird. So I kind of hid all of this for a little while, but it was always kind of with me. Like I would still talk to them, and they would talk to me, and my relatives, when they crossed over, would still talk to me, but I didn't really tell people about it. And then I just went on to lead a normal life. And, I went to school, I got my master's degree. I worked as a therapist for many years. I still have to keep my license for that. And then eventually, Spirit just kept getting more and more insistent, like, you need to do this work, you need to do this work. And I won't go into that whole story, but basically they just kept pushing me and pushing me. And believe me, when Spirit wants to get your attention, they're going to get your attention. Things will happen. So things happened, and I started doing the work, and I started training with lots of different mediums and meeting amazing people like Winter, and just sort of getting involved in the whole thing. And it's like, if you've ever been involved in a place where it's the right place for you, things just start happening and doors start opening. And I'm not saying it was like, oh, piece of cake, but it just felt like I was flowing in the right direction. And from that, I'm here today, and I work all the time, and, I'm blessed with lots of clients all over the world, and just so grateful to be able to connect with the spirit world and bring healing to the people that are down here, because we really need it. So hope that spiel wasn't too long, but that's a little bit about me.
Oh, that was great. And actually, that's how Mari and I met. We were both training. I think it was with Tony.
Yeah, I think
Tony
so.
Stockwell.
Yeah.
We both love him. So
Yeah.
we met in one of his classes, and that's one of the delightful side of effects of taking classes. Not only are you getting great energy, but you meet great people, a lot of whom are like-minded, because they're there to learn to unfold their mediumship, whatever that aspect is for that particular class, whether it's mental, trance, or physical. So like Mari, I was wide open as a youngster. I was talking to spirit, listening, interacting, and I just didn't understand that they were dead people, or the technical term is discarnates, because, angels aren't dead. Well, dead people aren't dead either, right? No, just kidding.
Right.
So anyway, around 5 or 6, I shut it down, as do many, many children, because we're going to school, and the other kids aren't doing the same thing. And you're starting to develop that part of your brain, which is for math and social studies, and not so much for intuition and connecting with spirit. I'm very forgetful, just part of who I am. So I completely forgot all about it. And we never discussed metaphysical topics in my house. It wasn't a prohibited topic. We just didn't talk about it. I missed the whole James Prague, John Edwards on television, because it just, that's the natural law, like attracts like. So, because it wasn't in my life and my thoughts, I wasn't attracting the opportunities. Like Mari was saying, that once you put your vibration and focus on something, the universe will bring you opportunities. So I, as well, went to college, actually right near her. I was up in Boston. And then I went to law school, became an attorney, opened a law practice, had a child, adopted a child a few years later, got very active with my local civic groups, Rotary. I love working with Gift of Life, where we brought the children for heart surgery, Chamber of Commerce, both of whom I've done mediumship demonstrations for now at this point. And somewhere around my mid-30s, oh God, I'm aging myself, aren't I? All of a sudden, strange things started happening to me. I started experiencing the emotions of other people. But I'm not talking about like when you're watching television and you're watching Old Yeller and the dog is dying and you're bawling your eyes out. That's sympathy. No, I'm talking about being on a cruise ship with my children and all of a sudden picking up my business partner in New York while I was in the Caribbean, having a hissy fit and being upset about something. And, back then it was too expensive to make phone calls. So I had to wait till I was off the boat and back home and ask him, I'm like, did you get upset on this date? Da, da, da. And he said, yes. And I had no idea what was going wrong. I just was like, this is not possible. It's the Twilight Zone. So I went to the weirdest person I knew, my friend Shauna, who owned a house in Sedona. And she explained to me. And then from there, I started researching. I went to libraries. See, I always love libraries. I went online. Then I found the spiritualist churches. Then I started sitting for classes. I started demonstrating for them their services, went to Omega, finally went to Lilydale. And now I go over to Arthur Finley, or actually we're online now, to continue studying. And of course, I also teach it. And I got to tell you, I spent 30 years being passive or turned off, okay, before it reopened or turned itself back on. And I never, ever want to go back there, okay? I think it was John Edwards who said, living life without abilities is like being on a black and white TV. Once your abilities are open and working and you're experiencing life with all these different dimensions, it's like high definition TV. And I totally concur. I never, ever want to experience life without being psychic and mediumistic. And now, of course, being able to go into the altered state with trance. I just don't want to do that. So one of my platforms is to encourage people to investigate your own abilities. Not that we're all made the same. You may have a soul plan that doesn't involve developing your abilities this lifetime, and that's fine. I think we can all be healers, and because as long as you're capable of love, you can send healing, and then you can train in different modalities, of course. But I just feel that people may be unaware of their abilities based on my own experience, and I had no idea. So I encourage people to take classes, meet one another, and live to their fullest potential in this lifetime. Okay, so that's my little spiel. Now I understand not everybody has time or energy or finances or this or that, because you have to work to support yourself. So not everybody might be able to develop their abilities in this moment. And, that's okay too, because then you have people like us that are willing to do messages for you, etc. So, but I always do try to encourage people to investigate their own potential and develop themselves to the fullest that they can. So that's a little bit about me, my philosophy. Oh, and I am a spiritualist. I've become a die-in-the-wool spiritualist. So that's my training background.
That sounds great. I am just answering. I encourage people to put questions or things they're interested in the chat, and I'm just answering because I'm slow and old, and it takes me a long time to do anything like that. That was awesome, Winter. Yeah, I'm glad. See, we have very much different backgrounds, but we ended up coming to the same place, and we are about, all about serving spirit and helping people that are here on this side. And definitely, again, we encourage people to put messages in the chat. You can also post on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, I'm trying to keep an eye on both, we'll all do the best we can here to try to, keep everything. I got
to respond to something, Mari, if that's
sure,
okay.
go ahead.
Okay, so she was a direct message, but it's kind of cute. Suzanne Porto was just asking if I know another medium who's also an attorney, Gina Barry. She said that I guess Susan is also an attorney.
Mhm.
And when she was in law school, they never shut the door on her. At St. John's Law School, when I was the class of 93, we were allowed 3 absences. And yeah, if you were not in, there was an attendance taker and they closed the door. And if you weren't in your seat, you got marked absent. So, and the door was locked. So they did do that in my law school back in, oh, I'm really dating myself now. And I know that without giving out names, once in a while, when somebody was having a hard time, we might sit in their seat so they wouldn't be marked absent, but they did do that. Okay.
Yeah, well, there's actually a bunch of people that are mediums that are still practicing attorneys. I know a couple other people too. So I don't know, there must be some connection with the law and the spirit world. I don't know, but there's definitely a lot of other people that do it too.
Well, actually, in the spiritualist movement, modern spiritualism started in 1848 with the Young Fox sisters communicating with a spirit. And that started the modern spiritualist movement. And many people involved with that were attorneys. And we've
Oh,
also got a lot of female leaders that were also moving, trying to get the vote for women and abolitionists. Sometimes I lose the words. And they had civil rights leaders were very much also involved with spiritualism, which is kind of cool. And not to take over, but Terry, please explain what a spiritualist is. So spiritualism is a religion, philosophy, and science using the modality of mediumship to prove the continuity of life. Spiritualism, there's different segments of it, or different groups of it. There's like the SNU over in the UK, and they have 6 statements of, it's not dogma, but beliefs. There's the NSAC, the National Spiritualist Association of Churches in the United States. They have 9 statements of belief. And the cornerstone, again, is using mediumship to prove the continuity of life, believing in the idea of prophecy, believing in the idea of healing, the natural laws, redemption. And in New York, spiritualism is codified in the New York Religious Corporation Law. So along with a number of other religions. But that's basically what it is. And for those of you on Long Island, I used to run a spiritual service once a month pre-COVID, and I'm just waiting for things to settle down, and maybe we'll start doing that again. So I'll let Mari take the next.
yeah, I'm looking through the
anything, Mimi?
questions, and thank you guys for posting. That's very good. I had one that I wanted to, all right. Someone asked, what is the hardest part about being involved in the spiritual world? It's just like anything else. There's ups and downs about everything. But for me personally, and I imagine Winter, probably agrees with this, is that for me, we're always giving. Like most people that are involved in this type of work, you're always wanting to help others and fix others, and not fix them, but try to give them whatever tools they can to fix themselves. And certainly coming for me from a background as a therapist, that's always been my goal. I start out all my sessions saying, I'm here for you. I want to do whatever it is that's going to help you, live your best life, whatever answers or whatever you're looking for. So I think for me, one of the difficult parts of being involved in the spiritual world is not answering emails at 1 o'clock in the morning, you know, not coming down. It's like, oh, but I really need a session in X, and, you know, and I'm so booked up, and I'm like, oh, I'll just add another one. So for me, not sort of overcommitting myself has been a real lesson for me, because I would just like keep doing it and keep doing it and grind myself into the ground, in which case I would be of no use to anybody. So that's, you know, that's sort of a lesson that I needed to learn, is sort of set boundaries and limitations of what I can do and help as many people as I can, but make sure there's at least a tiny bit left for myself so that I don't poof disappear. So what about you, Winter? What do you think is the hardest part about being involved in the spiritual world?
Um, I don't know, because I'm a workaholic.
Oh, okay.
Recognizing that in myself. You know, but even before I did this kind of work, when I was a young attorney, I had my own firm. I was a single mom. I adopted my youngest daughter as a single mom. I had Crohn's disease at that time, and I also had my other daughter from my other marriage. And yeah, I got involved with Rotary, and I was doing 20 hours a week with that, you know, bringing the kids. So I know I got cranky sometimes, but so I tend to do a lot, and that hasn't really changed too much. Um, I love meeting people as a Gemini, so I love being able to meet the spirits. I love experiencing the altered state and doing trance. I find I am totally fascinated by seeing pictures of me with having been transfigured by spirit. I just think it's amazing. And I want to know how far they're able to go, you know, and with us as a partner in that, you know, basically our job is to kind of get out of the way, but, you know, needless, it's also, we're consenting to do that. I want to see the human potential in that. How far can we go? So my mind is just, you know, super curious about that. Um, I honestly, I think this is, you know, I do a second business, but they're actually pretty easy on me. My law practice was easy on me. My clients were great. We had 1 out of 750 was bad. So I've been very blessed. I haven't run into too many difficult situations. So I'm not, I don't know what the hardest part is. Maybe the hardest part is experiencing the depth of your client's um, grief, because you're genuine and you're raw and you're open. So maybe, and I think, you know, all grief is devastating, but I think the worst one would be a parent having lost a child. So maybe that might be the most difficult part, is you know, you want to bring that child and reconnect that parent in that moment. But as a mother, I just, it just rips you apart that this beautiful soul is experiencing this. And yeah, I can shift myself into that spiritual mindset. Oh, well, maybe that's their soul's plan, but it just, yeah, I don't care. I'm a mother. I would be devastated to lose one of my kids, you know?
Exactly.
So that, I think, would be my answer. I know I kind of got around that. But that's one of the hardest parts, because there's so many times where I'm connecting with clients in the part of themselves that is just so grief stricken. Now, that's not all my work. Other work I have is just, you know, I'm connecting clients with their loved ones whom they miss, but there's not that rawness to it. It's just that it's genuine. Oh God, mom's there or dad's here, you know? So, but I think those really grief-stricken parents, that's, and I have so much, I have profound respect for the therapists that help these folks, because they're dealing with it client after client after client.
Exactly. I was just checking in on Facebook here to see what was going on in my lack of technological savvy way. make sure we're not missing any comments. I think there's a couple comments on the page there. Yeah, no, I think that's a good answer. And I think honestly, my training as a therapist has been really helpful because although the sitting in the grief is never fun, I've been trained for that and I've been doing that for a very long time. So I'm very comfortable like holding that space. You know, they call it sitting in the mud. And so I feel like that training for me has really prepared me for working with spirit because I was sort of already holding space for people that were suffering in a lot of different ways. But this is almost like a different level. This takes it to a different level when you're connecting with spirit or connecting with animals. And honestly, I think we're all here, you know, to sort of work in our own way. You know, everybody finds, or I hope everybody finds the medium that they connect with the most. And, you know, I might not be the medium for everybody or Winter, or, you know, you have to find who resonates with you, who you're drawn to. That's an important thing. You know, people say to me, oh, I want to get a reading, but I'm not sure. It's like, well, you know, first of all, if you getting the nudge to get a reading, that's sort of your soul sort of letting you know that you probably need some of that input. But also find somebody that you connect with. You know, you like their website, or you're drawn to them. You don't know why. That's sort of spirit nudging you to be like, hey, this is a good person that can help you move forward in, you know, whatever thing you're trying to move forward with in your life, or what your soul is yearning to express. So I think that's very helpful. I'm looking at the time, and I'm looking. There's a couple other questions here. There's one question that says, I've been trying to open my third eye. I see vibrant colors of black, purple, and sometimes yellow. I am stuck. Any advice on opening fully? Well, that is an awesome question. And I think everybody goes through, not everybody, but a lot of people go through different levels of stuckness at different times. And, you know, my recommendation is, you know, number one is you want to kind of get out of your head a little bit. Because for me, for a lot of working mediums, it's like when you're connecting in your body. Like the seat of the soul is more centered in your body, in your heart chakra. It's like if you're thinking about stuff, that's more your ego or your mind or stuff everybody has told you over the years. It's not really your soul. And so for me, what I teach people, you know, I teach different classes as well, but it's really about getting out of the head. It's like taking that deep breath, and as you exhale, drop your shoulders and allow yourself to fall into your body. Now that's just a 10-second little clip, but basically any way you can get into your body is going to help you open up that third eye, is going to help you open up that spiritual portal. So whether that's meditation, you know, grounding, walking in the woods, you know, and for meditation, so yeah, I say that, I know 80% of the people are like, ugh, like I'm not going to sit there. Like you don't have to sit there like a monk and go, oh, you know, you don't have to do that. You know, you can just sit and listen to calming music and just get into the breathing. It can be 3 minutes, you know, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Even I tell my clients washing dishes, if you're in the quiet and the monotonous kind of movements of washing the dishes or vacuuming can be like a meditation, because you're not in your head like, oh my God, I got to go to the supermarket, I'm worrying about this and blah, blah, blah. You're more into the motion of the thing. And that is very calming and can help you get into your body. So that's sort of my number one recommendation, is try to get into your body, do a couple things that would help you in terms of meditate, walking in the woods, you know, doing anything silent, practicing your breathing, and also maybe finding a development circle. Like, you know, I know Winter teaches a bunch of stuff. I teach, you know, intro to psychic development. I don't know where you're located. There are different places that might offer a development circle in person now. You know, feel free to message either one of us. I'm sure we could probably point you in the right direction. But definitely getting more in touch with your soul is going to help open that third eye up and help messages to come in, and just like your whole world's going to change. So what do you think about that, Winter?
I concur with everything you said.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, seeing colors in the beginning is typical of your clairvoyance opening. That's what I was seeing when I first started opening with the clairvoyance.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I am actually starting a beginner psychic and mediumship development class online on Tuesday evenings, March 15th. If you'd like more information about it, just email me or message me through my site, my website, or through Facebook. I have a private group for people that want to practice. And I have 4 practice circles on there. They don't cost anything. They're run by students and a couple of other members. Wednesday night, Thursday night, Mondays at 1, and every other Saturday. So if you want to join, it's Psychic and Mediumship Practice Group by Winter Brook. Okay. It's not for you to go to receive messages. It's for you to go and sit, and if you get so moved, try to give a message. The people that go to these circles are extremely supportive, and they range from beginners to working mediums that just want to drop in and they want to try their own a new technique or something. So there's no charge, and it's through the private Facebook group, and they use Zoom. So I would recommend that because, you know, a lot of spiritualist churches, like Mari said, they would be used to offer very low cost development classes and circles. But now with the COVID restrictions, which are gently being lifted, but they're not back yet, online works just as well. There's only a few things I don't think you can do online, but we're even trying to use, we're using the online for the physical development now, because, you know, some of the nights been kind of lousy with the weather, and I have a girl that travels 2 hours to sit in my private group. So, and another one's driving an hour from the other direction. I don't want them to put themselves in jeopardy. So we're trying it online until the, you know, storms finish. As Mari said, every Friday it snows in Massachusetts.
Yes, it does. And it's snowing again today. It's crazy. We had 65-degree temperatures yesterday, and today we have a foot of snow. So I don't know.
Do you want to do the card? One of our little,
yeah, I was just thinking
in our
of
show,
that.
we're
I
going to have
know.
a couple of segments. She's going to explain.
I know. Well, I was trying to, we wanted to sort of give a little, you know, explanation of who we are and what we kind of do. The show, we're also going to be bringing guests on, you know, as we do more shows, and we're definitely open if people are interested in, you know, maybe an angel intuitive or, you know, a past life expert, or I don't know, just put in the comments or message one of us if there's something particular you're interested in, and we will try to get that person on. Because, you know, there's lots of people and they have lots of information. We don't know everything. And the other topic, or the other, I guess, section of the show that we wanted to talk about is message of the day, spirit chat message of the day. So we thought it would be fun if we pulled a card and sort of talk about a message for the collective, like what the world needs to know. And so while everything was going on, I pulled this card. Hopefully you can see. Says stand your ground. And this is John Holland's deck, who I love and trained with, the Psychic Tarot. Love this deck. I have a million decks, but I always use this one. And I think it's really interesting that that's the card that, you know, that I pulled. You know, forget about what's going on in Ukraine. Like clearly that's a message for that in terms of globally. But I think there's an opportunity for all of us when things come into our life that, you know, we have an opportunity to stand up and fight for what we believe in. I don't mean fight in a violent way, but just stand up for our beliefs, or just be like, well, I'm just going to sit here and not do anything. And I feel, it feels to me like, you know, and a lot of mediums are sort of have said similar things, that there's like a development, there's a development of the earth, there's a change of things that are coming right now, an opening, an awakening, if you will. And standing your ground is part of that, because if you feel drawn to these things, if you feel connected to spirit, or you feel like, I know there's more to life than just working 9 to 5 and watching TV and going to bed and waking up and doing it all over again, then that's something that you need to support within yourself. And like I was saying earlier, when we first started, it's like, you know, when I was younger, I was like, oh, people look at me as weird and, you know, I better hide this. But at some point, it's important to be true to yourself. And to me, that's sort of what this card is really talking about, is about standing your personal ground. There's the standing your ground in the world in terms of what the world is fighting, you know, good versus evil, etc. But there's also standing your personal ground and about what your soul is really counting on you to do. Because we're all here for a reason, you know, whether you believe it or not. we are here, we all have a purpose, and it's important to embrace that. And I know that it's hard for a lot of people, and I know everybody's on their different, part of the path, but if you're kind of getting that nudge, then that means spirit's like, hey, you can do more, you can do this, and forget about what everybody else has to say. Sure, some people are going to think you're weird. I'm sure some people think we're weird, but I don't care. So, because this is sort of my dharma, this is what I was put here to do. And I'm sure that Winter feels the same way. And so that's sort of, I feel like the message for the collective is stand your ground, stand up for what you believe in, support what's important to you. And, fortune favors the brave. So put yourself out there and you'll never know what happens. So what do you think, Winter?
I think that's just the greatest card ever that to be pulled on all days. And I agree. I mean, also we're having the year of the tiger in the Chinese astrology, and we are so going to have an astrologist on at some point.
Oh, totally.
I love astrology. I
Me
don't do it
too.
professionally, but I love it. So stand your ground also means, I think, to pursue your goals.
Yes.
Okay. And the year of the tiger, from what I've been told, is all about the energy assisting you and to take some risk because you'll be successful. So stretch yourselves. And again, that goes back to my statements before about potential. You've got to risk a little to see where your potential lies. And the truth of the matter is, my father would always tell me, well, look, you know what? So what? If you try it and you fail, at least you tried. Okay. You're no better off than you were before you tried. But if you don't try, you'll never know if you would have succeeded. And, and they have all the stories about the famous stars, like the basketball player star was told he couldn't play basketball and now he makes millions off it. And I know I gave a whole sermon about that once. So just try it. Use the energy of this year to lift your wings. And don't worry if it doesn't, don't roll the dice on your stock portfolio or your savings, but certainly, try something new. If there's always something you wanted to do it. If you've got the time and the means otherwise, then go ahead. Fortune is smiling.
Sounds good. Absolutely. Absolutely. So
yes, Terry, Joanne Wolf.
I know you have I saw a couple comments on your Facebook page. I don't know if you can see them or if you want to answer them, Winter.
Okay. I've been trying to monitor that too. So I apologize, folks. I have a question for Winter. How did trance present itself to you? Did you learn about trance or did it happen naturally? Oh, this is a story. Well, I kept getting experiences. Spirit would step in. I guess the worst one was my father. So I was at my nephew's funeral and my dad had wanted to come through, but my brother doesn't really like mediumship. I mean, he'll have my business cards and he'd hand you my business cards. And if you like mediumship, that's fine. But he didn't. So I wasn't going to do anything. And my father at the last minute of the funeral, after we're standing around the grave, he really wanted to make his presence known. And I was sitting there and I was trying to send all this love to my brother and my sister-in-law for the hard, difficult path they had, losing their son. And all of a sudden I felt my father come in. I just was moved to the side. And the next thing you know, it was raining. I was singing at the top of my lungs, singing in the rain. I'm just singing in the rain. Don't worry, you will be happy again, changing the words. And I was so upset because I really didn't want that to happen. And I was so mad at my father, who was in spirit, obviously. I wouldn't talk to him. I signed up for Tony and Stockwell and James Von Prague's trance class like the next day. I said, well, it just can't be happening. And yeah, I had to do, like 2 days later, I had to do my first library presentation. There was like nearly 100 people there. And my father was on the stage, and I'm like, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. So that's actually how it happened. My dad kind of, when he taught me how to drive, I fired him after the first driving lesson because he took me to the curviest road there is in Northport. And I asked our cleaning lady to help me learn to drive. And I adore my father to this day, and I'll always talk about him, but I was pretty annoyed. And I do understand his position. He wanted to let his son know he was there. And, I just try to respect people and their beliefs. So I don't try to push the abilities on anybody. They have to kind of ask me. So my dad was a little pushy on that. But if I had to learn the lesson, I'm glad I learned it with my dad. So, my dad's done quite a few other really great things too, which I'm sure I'll share over time, but not today. But that is what prompted me. I knew it was going that way, but that was kind of like oops, I needed to know how to not have it happen in an inappropriate place. I mean, granted, it was highly emotional. It was my nephew's funeral, but that's how it happened. So.
Wow, that's a very cool story, Winter. Awesome.
I mean, my nephew's been around me since, so he wasn't upset, but, and I had other people at the funeral. All of my sister-in-law's family kept coming up to me asking if Ben was around. But I just, as I said, I was trying to respect the wishes of the parent on that one. So, but things like that do happen. So if I share this with you, if you're going through something, and like Mari said, when spirit wants something, they can really give you a nudge. I don't think spirit, I think that was my father. I don't think that was spirit. So,
Yeah.
and I understand, it was his son, but are we going to do mini readings?
Some readings. Yeah, we can definitely do some readings. I don't know if there's anybody, someone had messaged about, trying to look at the messages here. I don't know if anybody messaged on your Facebook page about readings, if somebody was interested, but there was a woman. Now, just so everybody know, I usually do pet readings through photographs. I don't know why, that's just what I started doing, and that's like my thing. So if you're interested in a pet reading, feel free to, I don't know if you can post a picture in the chat, or you can post it on my Facebook page, so I can see a picture. Otherwise, I don't know if there's people that just want a sort of a general reading or something in particular.
Laura, in the Zoom room, Laura would love a reading, and she doesn't. Can you see the chat in the Zoom room, Mari?
Yes, I can. I was just scrolling. All right. So do you want to do Laura? Ed said he would love one too.
That's fine. Let's see. Laura, if you're in the Zoom room, I love to work by hearing the voice, if that's okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Laura, would you understand a mother in spirit?
Yes.
Because I have a woman drawing close to me, and I do feel she's mother-like. And I want to say she's jumping up. Oh, goody, goody, goody. We got called on. So I feel like she would demonstrate her excitement about things when she was here. Would that sound about right?
Yes, it does.
And I also feel that your mom she was a neat freak, but she wasn't judgmental. So if she came into my house, she wouldn't say a word. She would just straighten up my house for me.
Probably, yeah.
I have 6 pets, so it gets a little undone. But if you walked into her house, everything would be put in its proper place.
That is true.
All right. And one of the things about your mom, people loved to talk to her because she wasn't judgmental, and she would just listen. I feel like she'd cut a piece of pie and your cake, have a cup of coffee, and just sit and listen.
Yeah.
and she would never offer her advice unless you asked. She would just say, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear, yeah, I see. And then if you ask, what do you think I should do? She would come up with some very salt of the earth, wise advice.
Yes.
Okay. So she comes in and she just wants to kiss you on the cheek and say, I love you. I'm proud of you, because you've been trying to balance a few plates these days. And I mean plates metaphorically, as far
Yep.
as trying to take care of this one and that one and do, plus work. And then another thing just happened and you're thinking, I can't manage it. There's too much on my plate.
Mm-hmm.
And your mother wants you to know you not only have her in spirit assisting you, but I feel like you have your dad in spirit.
My grandfather, probably.
Okay, her dad in spirit. Yep, thank you. And a bunch of other older females that used to pray a lot. They're all sending energy to you. She also wants you to know that come April, one of the things that has been a lot of work and worry or concern is going to gently kind of go away. It's going to resolve. You won't have
Okay.
to do anything.
Okay.
Do you understand which one she's referring to? Because she's telling me you'll know.
I don't know.
Okay.
have to
I
think
feel like
about
it's a
that.
younger generation.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
So
good.
that worry is going to resolve itself, and just focus on the new things coming in and what you're doing. Because that will resolve itself and will be fine.
Good. Okay.
So I want to leave her with her blessings and her love.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on today.
Very nice, Winter. Love it. Thanks for getting it. Excuse me. Thanks for getting it started. So I'm trying to scroll through the comments here. And Susan is on here and she wants a message from her cat. Now, I do give my preface about the photos, so I prefer to work through photos. But I am feeling something coming in from the cat. And I feel like we've connected before on a different event. And you were also looking for a message for that. So, so as I'm sort of entering now, the kitty's name is Squeaky, which is actually and that's also why I'm drawn to it, because I had a cat named Squeak. So I feel like there's some connection with that as well. As I'm sort of connecting with that energy, it's interesting. I'm feeling, and if I'm looking over here, that's because that's where I connect to spirit. So it's not that I don't think you're all beautiful as I do, but that's sort of my thing. So I'm not ignoring you. But as I'm sort of connecting with Squeaky's energy, it's interesting because, he's showing me like that there's a very protective piece about him. There's something he's telling me, like, I need to take care of my mom. I mean, obviously there's, he's a cat and he's not like, taking you to the doctor's office or something, but, there is a piece about that protection that he's making me aware of. So I feel like he would sort of sit and watch and make sure that everything was okay. There's some piece about that. And I don't know if you want to, if you could unmute your microphone if you want to talk to answer so I can know, or.
He was always with me, always okay. Had to be near me. Yeah,
exactly, because I'm seeing him sort of sitting there watching over you, making sure everything is okay. It's interesting, he's talking to me about a medical piece, so I don't know if he's specifically talking about you with having medical issues that you were going through, or if it was him that he's talking about, because he keeps talking to me about something medical going on. So I don't know if it was him that was going to the doctors all the time, or if it was you and he was sort of there comforting you. Do you understand that?
Not really, but there's certain situations maybe he's referring to that's outside of him and me, outside of us.
Okay, because you're just saying medical is what I was hearing from him. And there is also some piece about, it's interesting because it's like he's showing me like a door and there's like a crack underneath the door with light coming under it. So there's some piece about him like chasing that light. And I'm not sure why they're giving me that, why they're showing me that picture. I'm clairvoyant, so I see things energetically. And energetically showing me a door with some light coming underneath it. So it's almost like that. I'm not sure. Do you understand that piece?
I
why
do.
he would be showing me that?
I do. And if I don't know, I know we're not supposed to give information, but the reason why he's passed, he was, because I did not open a door, I could have stopped him getting killed by a coyote.
Oh,
I misjudged the situation, so that's why I feel guilty.
oh, okay, okay, yeah, because it's like, and the way that it works is, at least for me and everyone, winter works differently, I'm sure. Is they give me pictures. They give me pictures, images, little pieces of information, and I see it energetically in this space. And then like I have to interpret it because like it's not my story, so I have no clue what they're talking about. But that's what he just showed me, the door with a light coming under it. And thank you for that explanation, because now, my human can understand what he's talking about. But he's also like, he's so loving. I do feel like you did adopt him and that he had possibly an abusive background, because he's bringing me back here. My arm's probably doing really weird things right now. And, he's talking to me about that. And, but he's saying, but as he came to you and as he connected with you, it's like you were able to sort of bring that love out from him. So it's like he always had this huge heart, but he had to sort of keep it hidden and sheltered because of the abusive background that he was in. So it's almost like he's saying, when I came to you, I became a different cat, or I became the cat that I needed to be and always was, is what he's talking to me about. And there's also a huge gratitude piece with him as well. He's showing me a big heart. He's grateful. I know you just mentioned that you feel very guilty about it, but he's saying, without you, because I feel like that you rescued him. There's some piece about rescue he's talking to me about.
Yeah.
And he's saying, without you, he would have languished, is what he's telling me. And that like you were essential to him becoming this new cat and to his new life, is what he's telling me. So he's saying, Mom, don't feel guilty. He's like, things happen the way they happen. And, I'm certainly not God and I can't explain everything. And bad, like as Tony Stockwell would say, sometimes bad things just happen. And that's sort of where I'm holding. So, but he's saying, he's like, don't hold on to that guilt. He's like, that guilt is not for you, because you already did so much for me that there's no way I could ever repay that anyway. And he doesn't want you holding on to that. And it's just important for you to know that he's also very much around you. And I know that you're very intuitively connective, because he's telling me that he's still around you, especially at night. And there's some piece about like rubbing the back of your hair or rubbing your face he's making me aware of. And if you're able to sort of sit quietly at night, he's saying when you're lying down, he's there. He's telling me specifically, he's making me aware of this part of my body, sort of snuggling up against you, almost like holding vigil. There's some piece about sitting there and holding vigil for you and still keeping watch over you. So I hope that was helpful to you.
Yes,
And
wonderful. Yeah, I did rescue him. I did rescue him.
awesome.
Yeah, I found him in my rose garden and I pampered him from that time on, so until the end. Can I just ask you a quick question? Is there anything about a bell? Do you see anything or any information about a bell? Has that come into your
It has
view?
not, because if it had,
Okay.
I would have mentioned it. He kept
Okay.
showing me a big heart, though.
Heart.
He kept showing me like he's your heart cat. There's some piece about a heart he keeps showing me,
Can-
and almost like you would see hearts in different places, like in a
Can-
puddle on the ground or something like that.
I where he was killed, I drew a heart where he was killed on the side
Oh,
of
okay.
the
Perfect.
on my house. Yes. Thank you so much.
Great. Oh,
Thank you so
much.
much.
Thank you for being here. So, Winter, are you still
Fantastic.
there? I lost you.
Me?
There
No,
you
I'm
are.
here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
So, yeah, who is next? And I know we're probably running out of time. So we want to do maybe one or two more. We're going to try to keep the show to about an hour. Ideally, we're going to bring on, other presenters, special speakers, and talk about each week, maybe talk about or each show talk about a different topic in the spiritual world. And then also try to do some readings at the end, and spirit chat card of the day we'll try to do too. So. Is there somebody else that I already lost track of who was next, Winter?
Well, on the Facebook page,
Oh,
the
okay.
problem with the Facebook page is Tara Costello. Are you still there, sweetheart?
Well, they can always watch the replay also.
All right. She just kind of spoke to me, so to speak, because apparently she was in almost in a car accident this morning. She was thanking spirit for keeping her safe, and that just kind of popped out to me. So, oh, she's still there. That's good. Okay. So I'm going to stretch a little because it's the year of the tiger. And I've done this before, but I always love to hear the voice. And I can't hear the voice when they're on Facebook, but oh well.
You can do it.
I can do it. No, I've done it before. Okay, we all, as Mari pointed out, we all have our ways of working and also our preferred ways of working.
Yeah.
But I really want to give something to Tara because I know how that can be. The other day, I nearly hit a deer. It walked right in front of my car, and
Oh.
I jammed on the brakes, and my head almost hit it was a baby deer.
Oh God.
Yeah, we have a lot of them around me. But anyway,
Yeah.
so I get you get rattled, right? So I do feel that you had a grandmother around you, Tara, and I feel like she was instrumental in making sure that you yourself was not injured. I don't know if your car was damaged in this car accident, but she was instrumental in protecting you from harm. She's letting me know. Now, this grandmother, I feel was on the shorter side of height. So I want to put her around, 5'1", give or take an inch. And despite her demure height, that's the right word, she was strong in spirit and will. So she's a force to be reckoned with. And when she was on the earth plane, that's just the way she was as well. So, her kids, she was very strict with them. Obviously, the grandchildren, she was less strict with, but you still sat up at the table. You finished dinner. You were not hurt at all, and neither was the car. Good. Okay. And, she had certain rules that you live by. She's very strict about, you go to church, and I want to call her old school. And I see that she is a strong protector of the children and great grandchildren in the family. Children, grandchildren, great grandchildren. Okay. So know that she's with you. And I do believe you do know that she's with you. I think she's come through from spirit, through other mediums for you. And she's on the job. And she actually had quite the sense of humor because she's like, yep, I hope I'm on the job. However, she'd like to have a little rest. She'd like to put her feet up. So she said, you need to drive a little bit slower, because it's not your driving technique, but you have to be careful of the other drivers. They're not always as watchful. And she's giggling with that a little bit because you do like to listen to your music, and you do have a tendency to go maybe a little bit faster than she would prefer. Yes, you just said yes. Okay, so you understand all this information. Great. So I just want to give grandma to you and let you know you do have a guardian angel in your grandmother, along with your other spirit team. And your grandma wants you to get back to your practice. So I feel that you actually used to meditate, and you hear me loud and clear. Good. And grandma has more to say to you, and you do have abilities to receive communication. So chop, chop, chop. And that's like something your grandmother would have done. Okay. I don't know. I don't do that. But she would like you to slow the mind down. She says slow down, but I think what she means is your mind, slow your mind down. Take some time twice a week and in the evening. It's good for your overall health, and it will enable her to come through to you along with some other loved ones that you're missing in spirit. All right, including a dog. So I'm going to leave grandma's love and her message and her promise for future communication directly with you if you put if you slow down and allow the time for it. Okay, so God bless. All right.
All right, very nice.
You know what I wanted to do? I
What?
wanted to let them know that we have the date for our next show.
Yes.
And that will be April 12th. Now, we don't expect you to remember, so we will be sending out the flyers. The next show, we'll have it connected with the streaming service. We'll have our IT people, i.e. our wonderful children, who are really smart on this stuff, assisting us.
We're
with-
working
I don't
on it. We're working on it.
Hey, I'm my father's daughter, and I brag about my kids. And my dad's a great guy. I don't want that story I told you to think otherwise. But we are going to do animal communication as the topic. And so if, we'll put this in the flyer that we create, and to remind you, but if you want to come, it would be helpful if you had photos of your pets that you're hoping.
Yes.
Now, we're going to be reading both incarnate and discarnate.
AKA living and crossed over.
I like to use the proper
I
terminology,
know
but I
you
like
do.
that.
I'm
Crossed
more
over works.
fast and loose. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you have a photo of them, that would be awesome. Now, to connect with us, because I know that we both do newsletters, and this is something we would have in our newsletters. If you'd like to go on the list so you get that in the email box, I only send mine out once a month. I don't want to, drown you in stuff. It would be Winter Brook Psychic Medium at gmail.com. That's my email, or you can go to my website, Winterbrook Medium, and there's a prefabricated thing where you can just send me an email, however you want to do it. And I will add you to my newsletter list. And Mari, could you give them your contact?
I absolutely can. So yeah, I think this has been awesome. I hope everybody had a good time. Yeah, the best way to get a hold of me is through my website, mediummari.com, mediummari.com. And you can find me on all the usual socials, on Facebook, obviously. But I'm also on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and Twitter, and it's all Medium Mari. Type that in there. You'll be able to find me. And yeah, I have all my events listed there. I know Winter said she does a lot of classes. No wonder you're a workaholic. You got like things morning, noon, and night, 24 hours a day going on. So I have stuff. I do a mentorship that I offer, every sort of semester of the year. My winter one has been filled, but I am taking people for the spring if people are interested in learning about animal communication or psychic mediumship development. That is like a one-on-one kind of thing with me. And we sort of figure out, what time works the best. So it is very flexible. And I do offer, different intro classes. I haven't put one up for a little bit. I'll probably do one over the summer. Intro to animal communication is, a big favorite because people always love to come to me for their animals, which I love to work with. Check out all my events on my website. I have a couple different podcasts. I'm always doing podcasts coming up, and I have a radio show coming up on May 8th. And so check out my website, mediummari.com, and you will find all the info about me and my newsletter, et cetera, et cetera. So this was fun.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We will upload the recordings to our YouTube channels, each of us.
Yeah.
That, mine may not go up till tomorrow, but it'll be up there if you want to share it with someone, or if if we gave a reading and your friend wants to hear our answer to your reading. And I just love doing this. So thank you guys, because it's kind of like, I could talk to dead people all day long, but it's really no fun unless I have the living to like kind of bring the messages through, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, thanks, Mari. I really appreciate you reaching out and starting this one. And I'm just thrilled to be here with everybody, and God bless.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. Feel free to share it. I will get it uploaded to my YouTube channel as soon as I figure out how to do it, or one of my children does it for me, because, my kids are like, Mom, why are you spending 3 hours doing it? I could do it in 5 minutes. So I think I need to let that go a little bit, but it will be uploaded. And April 12th, our next show. Feel free to message each of us with questions or topics or speaker information. Yeah, this was awesome. I'm very excited and look forward to seeing all you guys in the cyberspace there, or in person sometime.
All right. Take care.
Bye. Thanks for coming.